Hello folks, how are you doing? LDL, that's a bad cholesterol that leads to heart diseases. This is known to pretty much everyone. So we are not discussing this basic thing. We are going one level up, where we will see how micronutrients are related to LDL and how an increase in LDL for a prolonged time, how is it going to affect your neurological system. Okay, also you will see all the details where I had high LDL and how I took help, what I did, and when I did the blood retest again after a month, what was the result. So I did enough homework here, hopefully, and please make use of it. So let's move on. So before we go further into the heart of the discussion, please be aware that high LDL affects not only your heart, it can affect your neurological system also, okay, down the line, okay. And also please note that if you have nutrition deficiencies, it can also affect your neurological system, and it can also affect any part of your body, because because nutrient deficiencies can damage the cell and tissues, okay. Now another thing we should know as part of this discussion is what is this atherosclerosis, okay. So that's for convenience, I will going forward simply say ether. So this medical condition is building up of plaque in your arterial blood vessel. So as you know, arterial blood vessel is the pipe going taking blood from your heart going out to all the parts of your body, all the tissues, organs, everything, okay. So what is plaque? Plaque is nothing but a bad thing, blocking the blood flow, okay. And when the plaque builds up, as it's common sense that you can see here, the blood flow is coming down, okay. There's a block here. Now the atherosclerosis can even be deadly, where apart from the plaque buildup, there is blood clots also, and that will completely stop the blood flow, leading to sudden death, okay. So we'll see this key word repeated in the rest of the discussion, so be aware of this. This is nothing but arterial plaque. Now we all aware that what is a prudent diet. I don't have to explain here much here, but let's touch upon its real quick, okay. Okay, so you see here processed food all the way down to milk products and things like that, vegetable, fruits, and over the right here it explains what you should do. So this one avoid if you can, otherwise eat very rare. This animal protein oils, eat just the need basis, on a daily need basis, and this you eat as much as you want, and this also just adequate, okay. Now most of us, if you say take 10,000 people, only 10 people could have control on this situation, okay, and most rest of the 9,000 blah 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 is failing because of compulsions, okay. Compulsion is a great force within us. It simply force you to eat even though you are completely aware that it's not good for you, okay. So we should have good self-control and stay away from this. This is going to kill us, okay. Now there is another way to tell the same story. If you see this picture, we can actually divide food into two types: alkaline foods and acid foods. The body does not like acid foods because acid foods put load on the renal system, which is kidney, okay. You can see here the junk food here on the right side. It is saying the renal load is plus 10, okay, on the other side, you see here, these are good foods, the fruits and things like that, where the renal load is -10, there is no load. Okay, so you understand here, if you take some time and take a look at it, you will know how bad it is to consume something that is not good. Okay, it's not good, so take some control. So moving on, now I'm going to discuss with you one alright, case number 1. I'll give you an example here. So this person is in his 70s. Okay, he's doing physically okay, no issues physically, but he has dangerously high level of HDL. Okay, and if the doctor checks him, clearly he can hear the heart murmur. Alright, but in this case he has no heart attack yet. Okay, he still has no heart attack. Interesting, right? However, he started having his cognitive function slowly getting affected. Okay, and now down the line, as he progress from 70 onwards, slowly dementia or dementia related Alzheimer's, things like that, and other neurological diseases started showing his face. Okay, so here this example is a very good model to tell you that even though your high HDL is not giving you trouble heart wise, there is neurological diseases showing up. Okay, now when I say cognitive functions affected, what are we talking about? Most of the people think, oh okay, he's at that point of time, well, Alzheimer's means simply the short memory is affected, otherwise no issues, things like that. No, it's just a beginning. Okay, and it will take its very devastating phase of disturbing the entire thing, and you will be bedridden also. Alright, you will start forgetting faces, names, so your movements will be reduced, and finally you will be bedridden, where hardly you can move your eyeballs or face movements. That's it. Okay, so it can go that level. Alright, now also be aware what is dementia. Most people think again, well, dementia is just a memory issue, right? The people can still walk, people can still have their daily needs and things like that. No, well, I suggest you pause this video and read this and be aware this is very deadly situation. Okay, and high LDL can cause dementia and dementia related diseases including Alzheimer's. Alright, this is very deadly. You see this part, it says here you can lose the ability to think. What can you do? What kind of life without the ability to think? It also says you can't remember. Of course, that is very known to everybody. Well, it again says you can have even daily life activities. Alright, you can have your language is affected. Alright, your behavior is affected, personality, there is a lot of problems. Alright, all these are symptoms of severe issues of neurological diseases. Okay, so these are serious stuff. Now, when do you think these things will start happening? That's the shocking part. Many of us think that dementia started showing its true face. It can take 10 to 20 years. Alright, say you are having a very poor lifestyle, it's not going to show you anything initially. Alright, but surely it will show up when you turn to 70 plus. Alright, so the crucial information, the takeaway is that you make sure you're at least in your middle life onwards, that is age 40 plus or 50 something, make sure you have very healthy lifestyle, physical activities and stuff like that. Otherwise, when you your retirement phase of 10 15 years until you are passed away, it will be very, very poor quality. Alright, you don't want that. Now let me show you another example, another case. Here The gentleman is at his 70s, but his LDL is within limits. He is active, meaning he is doing some kind of farming. He is also doing some kind of like badminton, things like. Basically, I am saying that he is active, okay, of appropriate age level activities. And you do have egg and yogurt even at 70. It's okay. You still can have it, just the daily needs, all right. And is not on any single doctor prescription. I'm telling you this. Look at this. He is cognitively active. This gentleman is cognitively active. Why? Because of positive lifestyle and with LDL within limits. So the takeaway here is that high cholesterol or high LDL is not just heart, it is also neurological diseases. Now be aware of one more thing here, that is liver. Now what does liver does? What does liver do for us, right? So as you see here, liver produces, okay, all the cholesterol that typically body needs. All right, you don't have to really feed in anything as much. It take care of 90% of it. All right, but when you eat anything that has cholesterol in it, all right, that causes increase of cholesterol in your body. Okay, so the body has a protective mechanism. That what does liver does? So the liver is aware that you ate something has cholesterol. So what it does is it senses it that you are making LDL through your dietary food. So what it does is it creates an equal amount of HDL, the opposite one, to balance the situation. So that's why it's called liver is a protective one, which take care of your small changes in diet LDL changes. Okay. So what the takeaway from this part is that you can have what you call the animal dietary animal products, okay, like all this meat, seafood, all that stuff, but take it just in a level, take it just for the daily needs, that's it. And if you do that, the liver will take care of any increase in saturated fat. Okay, it knows it, so you are good. That's why in case 2, which we discussed here, he's having egg and all that stuff, and he's still okay because liver is taking care of it. All right. Now moving on to nutrient deficiency. Okay, what is the role of nutrition and how is it related to LDL? Like I mentioned before, another cause for an increase in LDL in your blood is lack of nutrition. Okay, the lack of nutrition leads to increase in LDL in your blood. Also it leads to neurological diseases. So let's see how it works. There is something called oxidative stress. Okay, it's a medical condition when you have a prolonged state of lack of nutrition or poor diet or whatever you call it, and such a situation for a prolonged time can lead to cell damage, tissue damage. Okay, when that happens, and if those tissues are getting damaged in your brain, you are leading into neurological diseases. If that happens in your some other organs, that organ is affected. So it's very important to have a proper diet. Okay, that's the very base of your system, of our body. Now there is another thing that can happen if you have poor diet. Okay, that is inflammation. Okay, inflammation in the sense a chronic inflammation for a prolonged time. So if you are having a poor diet, surely you will run into chronic inflammation. And what is the impact of chronic inflammation? It can lead to damage of healthy tissues. Okay, so and if that happens, what happens? So if due to poor nutrition you are for a long time chronic, you are killing your own healthy tissues, and then all these things are your risk factors. Okay, Alzheimer's, dementia, everything, diabetes, cancer, because you are killing your own healthy tissues. Okay, and all these diseases are can happen if you start doing this. All right, so it's very important for you to take care of your nutrition. All right, proper food, complete food. The food diagram we saw before is the roadmap. Now I told you that I had high LDL. Okay, so I worked on it because in my initial attempts was not helping me at all. I tried to adjust my food and all that stuff. I was not seeing much change in the blood test. So I have to meet the professionals and take a proper guidance. All right. So what I learned from the first from the experience is that the lab test that you see, okay, and if there are abnormal values, please be aware that it is clearly an indication of imbalances in your system. Okay, it is a clear indication of nutrition deficiency in your system. Okay, please be aware it. Okay, anytime you have a lab test where values are out of range, this is the reason. This is where you have to focus. Now after the blood test, the doctor was able to see that I was having high LDL. He also saw my B12 was high. What that means is my stomach is not able to absorb the B12, or there is no B12. Okay, now I also have low vitamin D. My iron studies were also not right. My white blood cells were below optimal values, and I was also protein deficient. Okay, so putting all these values into consideration, and the symptoms I have and my genetics, okay, the team, the doctor and me, myself, and were able to reach a conclusion that they told me that I am low on zinc, copper, vitamin D, and also I have to take more protein in my diet. The doctor also suggested me to contact and take specific advice from dietitian or nutritionist also. So I did that also. It was a wonderful experience. It was very insightful, because most of the time we think we know we do self treatment. It's not the right way to do it. Okay, so part of the discussion I realized that the B12 thing, so I read more into it. I also discussed with the doctors. I came to understand that if the body has problem absorbing B12, or there is lack of B12, it can cause increase in LDL values. Okay, so further discussion realized that further discussion helped me understand that what happens with when you have deficiencies in B vitamins, okay, in your body. What happens is the system, the body goes into a situation called excess homocysteine. So what this means is, this is actually a amino acid. All right. So when you have low B12 or low B vitamin, the system generate more amino acid called homocysteine, and this is a bad thing. It damages your blood vessels. Okay. So what happens is that when blood vessels are affected, you are under the risk of atherosclerosis that we discussed in the initial page. Okay, that is artery plaque buildup. Now under this situation, what body does is it increases your LDL, okay, as a repair mechanism, and it increases the LDL like an antioxidant to fix the situation of damaging of blood vessels. Okay, that causes the increase in LDL in your blood. Okay, so now you understand why just because you have a low B12 scenario or metabolism situations of B12 alone, B vitamins alone can increase your LDL. Okay, so we should be aware, because there are so many reasons your LDL can go up. And if you see here, vitamin D, how is it related to LDL? Vitamin D can control the production of LDL in your system. Okay, so if your body has low vitamin, obviously it's lost the ability to control the increase in LDL. Alright, so if you are someone having low vitamin D, you are at a risk of increased LDL. Okay, now many people do self treatment. They take vitamins just like that, okay, without any blood work. Please be aware that taking vitamin D food or supplements, not food, actually supplements, will only help if you have a low vitamin D. Okay, if you are deficient in it, it helps. Okay, so if your LDL is high, and if you simply take vitamin D, it's not going to help you. It helps you only if it is deficient in your body. So same thing goes with the copper also. If you have copper deficiency in your body, you will have high LDL. Alright, zinc, same thing. Protein, same thing. So if you see here, LDL value can go for a toss because of many reasons. All these are nutrition issues. Okay, so be aware of it. Now finally, I was advised for correction plans after the blood work. I was suggested to take the supplements for zinc, copper and vitamin D3. I opted to eat zinc, copper rich food, so I took the help of nutritionist and he helped me out. Then that's it. So I took whatever necessary to fix the nutrition issues. I also cut on the carbohydrates, but I didn't cut on the total energy. Okay, so you need to keep the total energy minimum required for a day, otherwise you will feel very fatigued. Alright, you can cut on the carbs, but you can substitute on the other foods. Alright, I increased the protein intake. And here is the interesting thing. I did the blood work after a month. Alright, and I can see that I am going back to normal slowly. Alright, my reading was 170 before all this, and it dropped to 146 in a month. That is 15% less in a month, which is great. Alright, you can see here my last LDL 146. Okay, this is good. Now, when you take control of your situation, alright, and especially all this cholesterol and stuff like that, you can really see that slowly you are having more energy. Alright, your mood is better, and you are able to do a better work at your workplace. Everything is feeling good, right? So what is the takeaway here? The takeaway here is that LDL is not just heart disease, please. LDL is a little warning to us, okay, telling that there is some imbalance in the system. Alright, so with that being said, we are done here. Please make sure you read the disclaimer. Alright, and thank you so much for listening. I hope that this was some help to you. Alright, so you take care of your health. Alright, thank you, all the best.